the best thing in the world is for everybody to prep. It's up to you. If you're okay, if you end up with a big dark blotch on your face because you didn't prep, well, then sometimes that's how you live and learn.
One of the biggest things that I get phone calls on and emails are customers, clients, people who may have done a peel, maybe a little bit too strong for them.
Didn't prep properly.
Didn't prep properly. Instead of starting with TCA 13, 1 to 2 layers, they think, oh, well, I had a peel done last year and it was this, and so I'm going to go right for the 20. Unfortunately, a lot of times if you have that olivey skin tone or darker ethnic skin tone, but let me just preface that, it can happen to anybody.
Anybody.
It can happen. You could do 9 peels and never have a problem with pigmentation, and then on that 10th peel, something happens. Okay. So obviously there's many things that we can do to reduce that risk. So let's talk about what we can recommend for someone who's experiencing post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, either from blemishes or from over-aggressive peeling or...
Right, because PIH doesn't have to be from a peel.
Correct.
It could be from a pimple, and if you have someone with very light skin like me, I'm going to have a pink mark. Somebody that has an olive skin tone, they're going to have a brown mark.
Yeah.
And how do we get rid of those?
Yeah.
Number one, what I tell people all the time, especially if you're, acne prone and things like that, if you want to heal a pimple really quickly, you need to be using a retinoid. Right. Retinoids hyper speed up the turnover of your skin. Right. So if you have a mark, that mark, if you weren't using a retinoid, that could be there for 3 months or more.
Because time will help over time.
It will go away. But if you help it by being on something like this, not only will this help to prevent acne in the first place, but the turnover is so quickly that usually that mark will be gone in about a week.
Wow, that's remarkable.
About a week. Yeah. So make sure if you're not already using a retinoid, start using one.
Yes.
Right? And then on a daily basis, use Fade Bright.
Right.
If you can't use Fade Bright or for whatever reason, hydroquinone is another one. Yeah. Another alpha-arbutin. Alpha-arbutin and hydroquinone are the 2 very best things you can use for pigmentation issues. So we're talking about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So you did something, now you're left with a mark. Yeah. So we want to use this.
Your skin kind of got inflamed.
Yep.
Traumatized.
Yep.
And then once your skin swells like that a little bit.
Yeah, the melanin's there.
Yeah. Sometimes your melanin, the melanin in your skin will kind of purge to protect the skin. And then that's when you have these, dark marks.
Yeah. And if you did a peel, let's say you did a TCA 20 peel and you're a Fitzpatrick 4 or something and you made a boo-boo. And you didn't prep for 4 to 5 weeks with the proper regimen and you just did it, well, then you're going to end up with that. You could have one area, you could have a couple spots, you could have a big area. It could be everywhere. True. And it's going to take a little while to fix, but what you do, use a melanin inhibitor like Fade Bright or, like I said, hydroquinone every single day. Use a retinoid every single day. Now, there is a retinoid in here, but I would still recommend a stronger retinoid coupled with this. And, of course, you have to use SPF because any sun that, hits your face is going to make any hyperpigmentation you have worse. Doesn't matter what caused it. It's going to get worse. Yeah. So that, and I would recommend shading your face with a hat or something. I know it sounds crazy, but if it's important to you, you're going to do it.
Yeah. And reapply often if you are out in direct sunlight.
Yeah. And, so I'm going to talk about a couple of new things that we have that are also good for balancing pigmentation in the skin. I don't want to say it's a cure-all.
Sure.
Because it's not a melanin inhibitor.
Right.
But both of these, XO-PDRN and then the XO-AD, which is the human adipose exosomes, both of these, probably because it's like the way the product is, the intensity in which it fixes your skin, it can also help to balance pigmentation issues. And that's hyper and potentially hypo as well. And we never had really anything to recommend for hypo, which is that when your melanin is no longer producing.
Right, those
your
melanocytes
white
are
areas.
damaged, and then the pigment is gone. And once
Yeah.
it's gone, it's gone.
So adding something
Yeah.
like one or both of these into the regimen to try to fix this is a super idea. And a lot of times, and I want to mention like post-inflammatory erythema, PIE,
Yes.
as well. These could also be super beneficial for that because they're so healing. We have another thing that we usually say. So like, let's say you did a peel and for whatever reason yanked a piece off and now you get that really
Yeah.
pink skin.
Right.
And obviously it's pink because you've taken off layers, you're
Sure.
closer to the blood source.
Right.
It's pinker because there's not all those layers of dead skin on top. But that could take many, many months for that to
Sure.
balance out.
Yeah.
So using something like the PDRN or the XOAD can help balance those colors. Another thing that you can do, and this is like the official treatment, is use 1% hydrocortisone.
Got it.
Not hydroquinone, hydrocortisone. And apply
From the drugstore,
that.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
From any drugstore 1 time per day for 1 to 2 weeks. You don't want to go past 2 weeks.
Sure.
Stop at that point, and if there's still a little bit more, wait another week or so,
Sure.
and then do it again because that tends to lighten the skin. You want to be really careful. You don't want to make it a completely different color. But that is the official thing to do if you happen to have the other issue, the other mark.
Yes. So
red mark.
the biggest thing I hear from customers when this does happen to them, they want it corrected, and they want it corrected now, immediately.
Yeah.
So their first thought is, I need to do another peel,
Right.
and it's a little scary because, that's sometimes, not always, what brought us to this point.
Yeah.
So you certainly don't want to recommend them to do
the same
another
one they just
peel.
did. No.
Exactly. So it's very important that they, dial that back.
Yeah.
And if they are looking to do something, maybe something more like a lactic peel once a week.
Lactic or mandelic,
Yeah,
I think are
something
the
milder.
two safest.
And go in conjunction with the Fade Bright, the retinoids, and these super smart ingredients in the
Yes.
new Alchemy line are amazing.
I think that's a good idea. And I want to stress too, like if you just, let's say you did a TCA peel and you've got to wait 4 to who knows how many weeks.
Right.
I don't know how many layers you did, right? Let's say you have to wait 30 days.
Yes.
So you're not going to be doing any of these peels prior to 30 days.
Correct.
You always have to wait
Yes.
your
Yeah.
entire cycle. Okay, yeah. Now I'm at this.
Yeah.
I've been treating it for the
Yeah.
past 3 weeks, but I still have that problem. Then can I do a peel? Then, yeah, if it's a super mild one,
Yes.
like the Lactic
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
Though, the most advantageous thing you can do is using your Fade Bright or hydroquinone.
Now, do you
Daily.
recommend that they apply the Fade Bright to the dark area only at first? It's like, if they have, let's say somebody did a peel and they have a mark on their face, okay? I've actually been counseling somebody through email, very similar, darker skinned individual, used something too strong, did not
Yep.
pre-treat, same scenario that we just described.
Yep.
Above his beard, he has a line. And it's obvious. It's there. I feel
would say
bad.
yeah.
But it's like, I don't, there's nothing we can tell him immediately to correct this.
No, but at least with the skin discoloration, I know, being that he's a guy, he might not want to wear makeup or something like
Yeah.
that, but you can go get like a little cover stick, from the drugstore.
True.
Even have somebody at the drugstore
Match
help
it.
you match
Yeah.
a color that's close to your skin. A couple little dabs of that to help temporarily
Right.
cover it up
Right.
or lighten it a little bit.
Is it good for them, though, to apply the Fade Bright
I-
just to that dark
I
area
think
for
I
a
would.
week or two?
Right. Yes, I would. I would apply it to if you've got like a big dark spot
Yeah.
or a couple of little spots. It doesn't do you any good to apply to your whole face right
Right.
now. If you're trying to fix this.
Right.
Now, if it was kind of all over, then I would say, yeah, just apply it everywhere. And that's how you should prep, right? You should be
Yes.
applying this everywhere that the peel is going to touch.
Absolutely.
Everybody should.
Yes.
If you have Fitzpatrick 4 through 6, it is
Yes.
mandatory
Yes.
that you prep for 4 weeks
Right.
with something like Fade Bright
Yeah.
or hydroquinone. If you are at Fitzpatrick 1, 2, or 3,
Right.
you're lighter. Yes,
Yes.
you have a far less chance of getting inflammation and hyperpigmentation, but can you? Absolutely, yes. So the best thing in the world is for everybody to prep, you know.
Absolutely.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
If you're okay, if you end up with a big dark blotch on your face because you didn't prep, well,
For
then
sure.
sometimes that's how you live and learn.
Yeah. Definitely low and slow
Yeah.
when you're dealing with PIH as far as acids go. You know, and make
Mandelic or
sure that
lactic
you're-
are the only two.
Yeah.
And I would say if it's been months, okay, if it's been a few months,
Yeah.
I would reach for probably a Jesner as
Yeah.
well. But I would do it very sparingly, like one layer,
Right.
maybe 2 layers.
For
I
sure.
wouldn't be super aggressive, and I'm only saying that because that is really good. That has the resorcinol, which is very much like hydroquinone
Yes.
in it,
Yeah.
and it has lactic in it.
Sure.
So both of those ingredients are super helpful for pigmentation, but I
Right.
wouldn't run to that
No.
immediately after I did that peel and got the marks.
No.
I would be focusing on
Yeah.
your inhibitors and your retinoids and your SPF and give that a chance
Trying
to
to
work and take a
repair.
picture too. You know, the mark may be there, but it could be a third of the color
true.
that it
Yeah.
was before, and you're
Yeah.
not going to know that unless you're comparing a picture. So if something happens,
Yeah.
take a picture.
For sure.
And then take another picture in 30 days. And I bet you it's going back, but it's not fast. It is a slower process. If you're dealing with something after the fact, it's always harder to fix
Yeah, for sure.
than it is to prevent.
Yes. And if you have any other questions,
Yes.
please reach out to us either via email at support@platinumskincare.com. You can always send a photo. We can make, helps us make better recommendations for you.
Or call us.
Or call us, yes, 1-800-917-3155.
Yep, we're here to help.
Yes, absolutely. We're happy to do so.